we're going to have a look at what is grabbing headlines here in France. Flo is with us, and yesterday, as we told you in the news, the deputy leader of the lower house of parliament resigning amid these allegations of sexual harassment. Flo, it's not the first time, is it, the world of French politics by any means has been rocked by a sex scandal?
That's right. Sadly, it's not an unusual story in French politics. Many women, including MPs, journalists, etc., say that French politics is pretty rife with sexual harassment and sexism. Let's take a look at the front page of Le Parisien aujourd'hui en France. It says that things are starting to change. It says that essentially the age of impunity for men in power is ending. You can see they're talking about the end of the kind of code of silence that exists in French politics.
And according to Le Parisien, things are changing thanks to the fact that women in politics are just breaking the silence.
That's right. Women politicians are finally saying stop. Enough is enough, according to Le Parisien. That's what happened in this case. So Denis Baupin resigned after 8 women from his former party, that's Europe Écologie Les Verts. These 8 women stepped forward, accusing him of quite shocking allegations of sexual harassment and assault even. There's one instance, for instance, where he allegedly pushed a woman up against a wall to try and force her to kiss him. Another instance of him really harassing a woman with daily text messages, quite salacious text messages. It must be said, though, that he denies all these accusations and has threatened actually to sue for slander. It's a huge scandal, though, that's actually compounded by the fact that Denis Baupin is married to Emmanuelle Cos. She's the current housing minister, and not only that, but she was the former national secretary from that same party, the Europe Écologie Les Verts party.
According to Le Monde, this scandal really not coming as that much of a surprise to people within the Green Party.
That's right. Le Monde interviewed several people within the Green Party who say they were aware that there was somewhat of a problem. You can see here this quote here: "We've known about the allegations for nearly a year now. Some go even further. It was really well known within the party that we had this problem with Denis Baupin. We knew it would come out one day." Now, the official reason why this story is coming out now is because on March 8th, so for International Women's Day, he posed for a photo with 7 other male MPs wearing red lipstick, allegedly to protest against violence against women. And so that's why these 8 women say they were completely shocked by this photo and decided to speak out.
Not surprisingly, perhaps assuming, of course, it's true. Now, other papers seeing more political reasons, Flo has found, behind why this scandal is coming out now.
That's right. That's what L'Opinion wonders. It says, look, this is a really serious scandal. It's important for it to come out, but there's something fishy about it. If everyone in the Green Party knew about it for years, why is it coming out now? It does feel like people are settling scores within the Green Party, according to L'Opinion, because keep in mind the Green Party is rattled by internal divisions right now. As I said, Denis Baupin, he left the party just a month ago because of these divisions, and his wife, Emmanuelle Cos, she left the party in February when she entered the government. And L'Opinion actually quotes a politician who says the Green Party is currently going through a Stalinist purge. By targeting Denis Baupin, people are essentially trying to target his wife, Emmanuelle Cos.
Now, a lot of papers are actually exploring in more detail, which is very helpful for us who aren't French, this law of silence. Now, this is what tends to exist in French politics.
That's right. Slate says that France is taking a really long time to wake up and smell the coffee. France is slow in awakening to the problem of sexual harassment in French politics. Now, the problem, of course, really came to light back in 2011 during the whole Dominique Strauss-Kahn scandal. But Slate says that French culture is really slow to change for several reasons. First of all, there's still this idea that there's an important distinction between someone's private life and their public life. And in France, there's still this respect for the private life of politicians. But another interesting thing that Slate says is that politicians and French people in general tend to kind of put sexual harassment into perspective. They try to explain it in a way, give it excuses. They try to mistake it in a way for seduction or heavy flirting. And that's why often it doesn't come out into wide open like we're seeing today.
Lots of people are calling for change. We've got several politicians, some representatives, also some activists from right across the political spectrum. They've signed a petition which is in Libération today.
That's right. Let's take a look at the front page of Libération. They say, Levons l'omerta. It's time to lift the veil, break the code of silence. So you have this list of people, must be said mainly women, a few men, though, from across the political spectrum, saying, look, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, Denis Baupin, they're not the only ones. This kind of sexual harassment tends to happen quite regularly in French politics, but it's time to put an end to this kind of impunity. It's time for guilt to change sides. It's time for these male politicians to change their behavior. It's time for women politicians to stop adapting to this kind of male behavior. And the only way that this will happen, the only way that there will be a real change in French culture is if we speak out. So that's why they're saying it's really important to bring these kind of instances into the public light so that people are aware. It's not just in political circles that people are aware that this kind of behavior takes place. Now, it'll be interesting to see if this particular scandal sparks any change in French politics and French culture, or if it'll just essentially blow over like it has in many other instances.
Interesting to see all the scandal and all the analysis as well from Flo Villeminot going through the French newspapers for us today on France 24. In the next half hour, of course, we're going to bring you all the latest news from the Philippines and from Brazil as well. Plus, we have a vital reminder of what happened during the Rwandan genocide in 1994. A special report as a trial opens here in Paris today of two mayors accused of sponsoring the mass killing there. We'll bring you a special report there in about 15 minutes' time here on France 24.